Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. Another show talking politics tonight. One of my favorite political guests, Dr. Tu, is here. Stay with us. Feedback starts now. Good evening and welcome to this Thursday night edition of Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. Lots of politics, lots and lots of politics tonight. Dr. Tu is joining us. We'll be speaking with him in just a little bit. There he is, sitting right next to me. We'll be talking to him in the upcoming segments. It's the state of education in Pennsylvania. We'll be talking about that, as well as after 9/11. He hasn't been here since well before that, and I want to kind of get his thoughts on some things having to do with 9/11, especially the media coverage. But first, in this segment, you may have seen on TV5 News a little bit earlier this evening, I had a story about the lieutenant governor, a lieutenant gubernatorial candidate, Alan Kukovitch, was in town, State Senator Alan Kukovitch, and we played part of my interview with him earlier. Well, now we are going to show you my complete interview with him this afternoon before he spoke to some Clarion University students. Take a look. Here in the Gemmel Student Complex at Clarion University with State Senator Alan Kukovitch, also running for lieutenant governor, and that's pretty much why you're here today. You've called for, you're saying if you get in, you become the lieutenant governor, a special session on education. And talking about education, in one of your press releases you say, the quality of one's education should not be determined by the value of the homes in the community. Could you explain what you mean by that and what your plans are there?
What I mean is that we've got 501 school districts in Pennsylvania, and there's a great disparity between the amount of money spent per student in each of those districts, as great as 3 or 4 to 1. In some poorer districts, $4,000 some dollars might be spent per student per year. In some wealthy suburban districts, it could be 12, 14, 16,000. The mission of public education is to make sure that all children get a fair chance at a quality education, and that's what I mean by the quality of one's education shouldn't depend solely on the luck of where they're born. I think that defeats the whole mission of public education. Now, what we intend to do about it is to begin to focus on how the state can pick up more of the fair share of the basic educational subsidy, which once was 50% and now has dropped to 35%. And when that happens, the burden shifts to the property tax. And the property tax leads to that kind of inequity. Plus, it's also unfair to people on fixed incomes and homeowners of certain incomes and senior citizens, and that's something that needs to be changed.
You're here at Clarion University today in Clarion County, and you're going to be speaking in just a few minutes to some university students. What about higher education? We have the state system of higher education as well as other state-funded schools. Obviously, education nowadays almost always goes beyond the 12th grade and secondary ed. It goes to higher education. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, just recently I talked about how we need to have this special session, and one of the components of that session should be what to do about higher ed. Number one, we can't cut like we have or freeze the funds as we did last year, and now the government's calling for a 3% cut. We need to realize that spending money on our colleges, our state system, is an investment, an economic investment in our communities and in our state. And every dollar that we put in, that the state puts into a college, returns almost twice that much to the community. We need to recognize that. And so I would make sure that in our future budgets, incrementally, each year we try to increase the funding to those schools a little more. Secondly, I would like to see FIA expanded.
Higher Education
Yes.
Assistance.
I'm sorry, yes, I hate to use acronyms like that, but it's the major vehicle that the state can use to provide loans primarily, in some instances grants, to students. It'll hopefully keep tuition costs down. It'll make colleges more available to our students. And thirdly, I think we need to start thinking at the state level in terms of moving economic development people closer to educational people, taking the various departments at the state level that deal with economic development and education, have them work together to provide grants for other types of aid to students for post-secondary training, which could be different types of vocational schools, could be for associate degree programs at community colleges and other types of schools, which have the potential not only to give a student a good base, give them a chance to earn some money, but lay the groundwork for them maybe a little bit later to move on to a school like Clarion or a four-year baccalaureate degree school, and improve their chances to advance and grow and still stay in the community. I think that's our real goal.
Last question, briefly. Every president has a vice president, and in Pennsylvania, our governor has a lieutenant governor. Any talk of running mate teaming up in any way with Rendell or Casey?
Well, there's been a lot of talk, but I'm not sure if any of that is going to happen. I've been trying to run independently, and I'm fortunate to have support of many people and organizations that support Bob Casey and many who support Ed Rendell. So I'm trying to run independently, because what I'm doing is trying to not only win an election, but win in a way that I can redefine the role of lieutenant governor, make that position more meaningful. As long as the taxpayers are going to pay for that position and that office, let's make sure it can accomplish more. And that means by having the experience to move a legislative agenda that the governor's office has through the legislature, to actually accomplish some things, to use the positions that we have with PEMA and other entities that deal with local government and land use planning and economic development, to be a very aggressive partner with local municipalities and counties and the private sector, to make sure that we have a game plan that's going to mean that we are going to grow in a very smart way, help our towns, help our cities, try to avoid destroying open space and keeping as much of Pennsylvania clean and green as possible. And those are very active roles that I think Lieutenant Governor should play, and in the past hasn't.
And that was my conversation from earlier today with the lieutenant gubernatorial candidate, Alan Kukovitch. As Dr. Tu was watching, is kind of agreeing with some of the things, and we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to get Dr. Tu's reaction to some of the things that Senator Kukovitch did say about education in Pennsylvania. Stay with us. Feedback continues after the break.